Yay Networks.
Welcome to the Great Girlfriends podcast, where we discuss life, love, laughter, and everything in between. I'm your host, Sybil Amuti, and I can't wait for you to hear all of the Great Girlfriend magic on today's show. So without further ado, grab something great to drink, grab your pen and your paper, and get ready for this week's episode. Enjoy! Okay, great girlfriends. Welcome to Shenaniganville, live with KJ Rose.
Yes.
No, seriously, happy Wednesday, great girlfriends. Wherever you are near and far, we hope that you are feeling celebrated, loved, respected, adored, and admired by all of the amazing people in your life. I am live in the studio yet again. Shout out to Riley, my amazing producer who I love so much. Hey, Riley. And I have a great girlfriend guest, like a real life, like I'm not going to cry, but I am going to give her a tribute in a second. Great girlfriend guest in the studio, the THEEEEEEEE KJ Rose.
You better give yourself an intro. Amen. This is
the KJ Rose, who's worked with every Nas under the sun.
There's Come on, every Nas. We got the Nas on lock, the block so hot, the Nas on lock. I'm sorry.
It's not a Nas. She hasn't worked and coached, and she's worked with every Nas under the sun. She's a performance coach. She is a great girlfriend. She is a singer. She's an extraordinary speaker. She's an author. And she is like one of the greatest friends you can have in your friend Rolodex. So this is the part where I probably won't, I will come close to crying, but I'm not going to cry because I'm a gangster.
Oh my God.
Like I'm a gangster since I've moved west.
a little bit of a...
okay. So here's the deal.
Oh, Jesus.
I have so much appreciation for KJ, and I want to share with you why. I think it's so important at every single stage of your life, and we're going to play again, but I just got to get deep for a second. Every single stage of your life, you have people that God will like send to represent, what do they represent? They represent his confirmation that you're where you're supposed to be. And moving to California was a big leap. Most of you know, if you haven't been listening, shame on you. But if you have been listening, you know that a year and a half ago, I moved to California with my family, my husband, 2 kids, and the dog. And it was a God move. And in that move, I have lots of friends out here, right? Lots of great people that I know, love, and adore. However, KJ really made sure that in my transition, KJ, you made sure that I settled into community fast and furious. How did you do it? 1, you were like, I'm your community. That was number 1. You were like, I'm your community, okay? All right, okay, that's it. Now that you know that I'm your community, I'm going to make sure that I help you get out the house, because I know you don't like to get out the house. You're going to get out the house. You're going to be intentional about building out more community inside of LA. I'm going to take you into places that you're probably not even thinking of or even aware of. I'm going to help celebrate this move for you. And so I probably wasn't here a good 2 weeks before we had that lunch at Javier's in Beverly Hills, where it was supposed to be a couple friends meeting up. This is actually me, you, and Tiffany. No, Tiffany wasn't even coming. It was me and you.
Yeah.
And then you invited...
I invited Adrian. I invited Nikki,
Felicia.
Yep.
And then Tiffany, who I'd seen a couple days before, was still in town, or her flight got canceled. And she showed up. And I was like, wait a minute. Are these community? Like, is this what it's going to feel like to be in LA? And so I have to thank you, because in this chapter, I was like, well, God, I'm not trying to go like knocking on people's door to be like, can I hang out? Can I go place? Show me, God. Like, you revealed to me who, what, when, where, how. And you were all 5 of those. Who, what, when, where, how. He's like, KJ, heartbeat, intentional, honest, loving, spirited, crazy fun, no requirements, like just being, right? And so I can't thank you enough for being the who, what, when, where, how for me.
Oh,
I love you so much. I love you so much, and I'm so grateful. And every time I think about you, KJ, like my heart does cartwheels, because that's who you are. You are the most highly spirited person I know. When I think about zest for life, like you are the fireworks. You have that voltage. And and people tell you this often. I know they do. I mean, I think Nas said you were the soul of the show.
Come on.
Or did I say it like
right.
Nas? He's like,
Nas, KJ, you like the spirit and the soul of this situation. You bring the soul out. Yes.
that was like my Nas interpretation, right? So, but you like bring the soul out, and it's not anything that you ask of people. You just awaken that extra part of a person that might be dormant. And so I came to LA really planning to like chill. I was like, I'm just gonna chill. I'm not gonna do like I did in New York. I'm just gonna chill, right? And you're like, yeah, or I can awaken those parts of you that need to be alive in this chapter in LA.
Yep.
So I just want to thank you for that, and I want to honor the fact that you are the most spirited person that I know, and it is not contrived. I think 3-year-old KJ was out there in the front of the recital like, oh, baby, give me one more chance. Like, I feel like you were out there like doing the whole routine, and like, I feel like this is your identity.
Yeah.
And like, it's also part of your calling. So I want to get into that, showing up with this, because people want to know, right? There are people who will try to contrive something to be something in order to get the results that they're looking for. And we talk endlessly about this in the Great Girlfriend community. It's not about what you can contrive. It's you showing up as the person that God has called you to be.
Right.
You have done that in and out. Even when you chill, it's like, I have such a respect for it. I'm like, all right, we chilling. We're laying back today.
Those are my days where I'm super pensive. And I'm like, okay, it's funny because there is a picture of me at 5 for my birthday, and the pose is this. And I was like, huh. But the interesting kind of like paradox to that is I had a stage fright whenever it came to singing a solo or to being required to show up as an orator. Really? I'm great. I was great with ensembles.
Yeah.
Great with the choir. But the minute someone singled me out, oh, I'm ghost. I'm gone. What? My body would have an adverse reaction to standing out there alone. I know. You didn't know that? I thought we talked about it. Yes.
Oh, my gosh.
Which is why I love what I do, because I understand when you believe you have a gift for something, but your body or whatever other, circumstances won't allow you to fully show up and maximize that voice.
Yeah.
And so I just decided I was going to be that tool, that irritator, that agitator that helped people with potential that was lying dormant to
that's good.
reintroduce them to themselves.
No, when you think about potential that's lying dormant, I know I understand that personally, because there are certain things that people that comes naturally. Yeah, no, there was some work. I like, and now now what feels natural was actually a part of great nurture, great coaching, great training, great reinforcement of identity.
Yep.
It wasn't like I went and had a surgery to do or become anything that I needed to become. I just did the work that came alongside it.
Right.
What has been the work for you? Because you are, like you said, you're the tool, but it's center stage for you.
Yeah.
So it's like, it's almost, okay, there's a stage here, but there's a stage over there too. The toolkit got a whole stage.
Yes,
so
it does.
What has been the work for you to show up as KJ unapologetically, respectfully to everyone's light, but just being and giving your own authenticity?
You want to go deep. Okay. I would say, well, first, before we get to that, I got to say that Sybil has also been a light in my life, and she didn't tell you that we met in Australia. Yes! I did one of the early podcasts, but this was during, it wasn't even COVID
was like
yet.
18.
Yeah.
2018.
Yeah. And
that's
so,
when I met you. Like, I met you online, and I was like, she gonna be my friend.
And look at there.
I hope she knows it.
And, I always talk about how repetition
Yeah.
was the biggest breakthrough and superpower to being able to truly access the assignment for me. It was like, how much have I added to the tank so that I can always access the victory, access the win? Or, am I going out for the first time on different stages or in new environments, but I don't have anything, I have no victories to hold on to.
Oh, yeah.
And so I talk about the platforms and the repetition, the repeating of that. When, I came to you all's Great Girlfriends Conference in Brooklyn.
Yeah.
Like every platform had, and that was early on.
That was 19.
Yeah.
Yep.
I think the only corporate gig that I had done at that point was Google and Pandora, but I had not done a lot of conferences. I had been on the peripheral of Ad Color, but I'd never taken center stage until this year.
Wow.
I've been working with the futures and working with the most promising students. But I would say you guys were one of the first platforms that let me come alive, and it became the metric from which I rose, because the rose of the KJ when she rises. Nobody
It's
ready?
passion.
And so that's really, what started it. And I remember, DJ, what's her name?
No.
You
That
like
wasn't Olivia. That was, because she's moved
And
to
she
Atlanta
said,
now.
yep,
Oh my
she
God.
played, boom, 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 boom. I was like, what, boom?
I got the video.
I always, and that was probably the beginning of making sure that I always had something, whether it was a mantra or whether it was music, that made me feel invincible.
Wow.
Wow. What, and then that grew into power chants, but it was like, and then I started rapping myself, but it would be, I would say the work was making sure that for every assignment that was given, that I was in the studio and I was working through it, and I was, putting things in place and not leaving anything to chance. And even as a vocal performer back in the day, like I needed to know what it looked like, what it felt like in the studio before I went to stage, so that I could take my power back from whatever you were thinking.
Right. Oh my gosh. Wow.
I'm like, I spent like the first 10 minutes of a show trying to read the crowd, and I would like do certain, riffs or whatever, and it would be like blank stares. And I was like, So then I try to give all of my special, sauce,
Right, like,
and then
this
they
the move,
still
this the
be
move.
like, And then I was like, And then by the end, I was like, what just happened?
Yeah.
And then those same people that didn't have any expression whatsoever would be like, you were amazing. And I realized that everybody processes and interprets differently.
That's so true.
And if you focus on what you're supposed to be doing, then
deliver.
who it will hit.
That's right.
But do your work.
Do your work. And that's the part. Because what if you had started pivoting to adapt to what you thought people needed out of you at that time? You would have missed the opportunity to, at repetition, show up, perform, be, honor the gift that you already had.
Yeah.
I think it's so important for great girlfriends that are listening to realize that. And sometimes you realize, KJ, I know I went through a stage in my life where my repetition had been performing for others. I was showing up as the person that everyone else needed me to be.
Yeah.
And I struggled with releasing myself from that identity because it yielded so many good results that I liked. I was making a lot of money.
Yeah. Yeah.
Quality of life was solid, right?
Right.
So I was like, so when I get in these corporate environments, I got to be the fierce, stern, clear-headed, unapologetic, almost mean, because I have it. Like there is a deep, but I have a mean side. Like be that, because that's what my white male counterparts are being. And I was like, yes, I have to show up in this way. And my body would yearn to want to hug people, to ask them how they were doing, to even ask about their kids. Like, how are your kids doing? Like, just before I had kids, and like, how's your wife?
Yeah.
To ask the things that I cared about. But I was like, nope, this is not the place. You need to be this person in order to get this result.
Yeah.
And it was years of performing to be that person, to show up, only to realize that all of that was wasted, because what I needed was already on the inside of me, and that was my unique DNA. My unique DNA is I really don't have to know you for 5 seconds to hug you.
That part.
I don't have to know you 5 seconds to be like, how are you today?
Yeah.
To want to look deep in your eyes and see you as a human.
Yeah.
And care more about, like, get you coffee if you need it, if I'm going that way, not expect for the server to do it. And to open doors for people, because I believe everybody deserves a door. Like, that's my unique DNA versus, so I had to disrupt that performance. I had to disrupt it. If I was going to truly be myself, if I was going to even build a podcast that mattered, a community that mattered, or even teach my daughter how to be authentic, I was going to have to release myself from performing for other people. And I think that we as women do ourselves a huge service. We honor ourselves when we stop showing up under the expectation of who everyone else wants us to be.
Right.
And show up in full representation of our gift and the masterpiece, the DNA of who God has really made us.
Right.
Like that's the real show up.
Yeah.
And so that's why I can honor you, because and you realize and there's such a big difference. Great girlfriends, KJ, Riley, everybody listening. There's a big difference in the type of people, the quality of experience that you have with people when you do that.
Mm-hmm.
Think about it. You get people, and when you're performing, you get people in your life who are performers, who are there for the lights. And when the lights go off and you want a shoulder, there's no one available because they were performing. And you get people who are theatrical in their ways but have zero good intention.
Come on.
Right?
Yeah.
But when you start showing up authentically, you get people that want to look out for you because looking out is what they do. Loving is what they do. Honoring is what they do. Supporting, it's what they do. Like that DNA aligns with other people who are like-minded.
Right. It's who they are.
Yeah. So for example, if we had met in a certain New York season in our life, we probably would have rubbed each other differently. Like in your bad boy season and in my not the fat on the table.
That's there were even no words. You said bad boy. What?
Yeah. Like that season and my agency corporate season, you would not have met all of who I am, and I would have not have met all of who you are. We wouldn't have been able to honor each other in the most precious, tender ways that we can now.
Yep.
Right? Because we wouldn't have. I was performing. I had to make sure my life was spot on.
Yeah.
In most ways, so that I could keep up my New York life during that season.
Yeah.
And all of that evolution, growth, love. Self-love, honor.
Yeah.
So I'm sorry to kick you, but there's so much of that I just love about you. And I want for every great girlfriend to recognize that. You talk about that repetition. The negative repetition is me showing up for everybody else and being who everybody else wants me to be, right?
Right.
And feeling like I always got to be on to be, and always needing to be invited and always needing to be accepted and needing to be validated by whatever measures other people have in place.
Yep.
Sometimes people really don't even, I met a Grammy award-winning artist who has a number of Grammys, and I was like, "How does it feel to have Grammys?" She's like, "Eh." I was like, "What do you mean? What do you mean?"
Right.
Man, she's like, "I never wanted a Grammy. I just wanted to sing."
And that's for everybody else. So
that was everybody else.
That's for everybody else.
Right. And then positive repetition says, when I positively affirm, when I positively show up, when I positively honor the gift, like when I positively do the internal evaluation so I can be an external powerhouse, right? When I do that thing positively on repetition, it's going to give me the best performance of my life, which is me showing up for me. Right? So I just appreciate that part of you that continues to teach that to so many people. Yeah. As a coach, I think that's your unique gift, as I've seen you in your coaching experience.
Yeah.
And even hearing the futures respond to you, the Ad Color Futures, shout out to Ad Color Tiffany R. Warren. Yes. The futures who have said, like, you unlocked something in me. Like, I felt more open. I felt more alive.
Free.
And right after that liberation is something that's not, it should never be lost on anyone, the power of being liberated, having your spirit liberated.
I think my mission is always to make sure that I show up in my own vulnerability, which in turn gives people the permission to show up in theirs. It's like, I'm asking you to do things, to go into chambers of your heart. But if I've not done so, then of course you're very reluctant. And over time, I've actually promoted myself to director. Okay.
Yeah.
She's an artist development and performance director.
Yes.
And because as an entrepreneur, it's like you don't have the natural progression that's already set for you if you were inside of corporate, right? And so in that, it helped me to understand that my goal was to help people. I wanted to know what their messaging was, because the external expression, I don't care if you're a medical artist, if you are an executive artist, if you are a radio artist, whatever it is, your external expression. External expression is a reflection of your internal narrative.
Right. Absolutely.
So before I can even do the work, I got to know what you think about yourself.
Yeah.
Before I could do my work, I had to elevate my thinking and elevate myself. And so a lot of times people would, because sometimes people can only see you through one lens.
That's facts.
They would reduce what I did to, like, I saw you doing your little dancing and stuff. I'd be like, oof.
Yeah.
Oh my God, that just hit me. And I was like, is that how you see it, huh?
Uh-huh.
And I just had to say, you know what? You know you're more than that.
Mm-hmm.
What you've been doing lately, yes, it's coaching through directing. But, and then I remember someone saying to me, and I always stay open and listen, you know, and see how I align in the corporate world.
Mm-hmm.
And someone said, directors get agents, not coaches. So I was like, oh, well, we done with that.
Yes.
You know,
I've
and I just said,
officially
yes.
ascended.
Because, and then I've had to map out, you know, my own path. And not to say that there weren't people that came before me. There
Right.
was, you know, Frank Gatson, who identified very early that I had a level of stage presence that stood out for him.
Mm-hmm.
I was singing background for Carl Thomas. He was managing Tyrese and kind of doing some creative directing for Carl. And then Ben Vereen, when I was I was singing background with Diddy. He was Puff back then. And Ben Vereen like sent a message as well. Like,
Yeah.
you know, you really got something. And so I think of, I believe his name was, I don't want to get it wrong, but Charlie from the Motown days, who was the choreographer and, you know, the creative visionary for how all of those artists showed up. And when they hit the stage, what their presence was and
Yeah.
how it abounded in the room. And so I think I am constantly just trying to sharpen and get better.
Yeah.
Right? I said earlier to someone that I have, you know, I know we're not supposed to have any fears, but I have two fears. One is that I continue on this journey with recycled information.
Oh my goodness.
That's why I
Yeah.
continue to.
So
I'm
powerful.
looking for new. I'm always
Yeah.
like, okay, I'm taking motion capturing classes because
Yeah.
I want to know as much as I can to provide you with the an ultimate storytelling ability that does not include sound.
Yeah.
So by the time you
good.
get sound, that's a bonus.
Yeah.
You know, and then the second one is that I hate losing twice. So even if the one is the perception of a loss, that you spend time regretting something, but if you don't recover quick, the blessing of the next moment will be missed. And so I'm just like, I'm constantly living in that. And even when I'm, you know, making speeches or the keynote speaker or motivational speaker, I make sure that I really don't finish the speech until I get on stage because I want to continue to live
Yeah. that
in real
moment.
time. In that
Yeah.
moment, can I be inspired by other things? And so as a performance director, I have to stay open so that I am directing with fresh information and fresh perspective and not old information.
I love that. You do that in every way though. And we know in order to evolve, you have to innovate your practices, your routines. And I want to just inspire any great girlfriend who's feeling stuck, you know, in a routine that is stale. Maybe it was a former chapter, or maybe it was a former relationship, maybe it's friendships that are not as ripe as you need them to be for where you are now. And you need to stir up something new and fresh. Don't be afraid to innovate in exchange for the evolution that happens, because literally, you know, taking a new street on the way home every day, that innovation in travel teaches you so much more about your environment and the people around it. Instead of listening to the same, no, I'm gonna say that you're gonna listen to the Great Girlfriends podcast every day, every Wednesday it drops, okay? But after you listen to the Great Girlfriends podcast,
Do something.
pick a new one, pick a fresh
Yeah.
one, pick a different one, or go back to an episode that's 300,000 episodes ago and find something fresh in it. But and even in your skincare and in your environment, your work environment, the questions that you're asking, be willing to innovate those, because that evolution is so important. That recycled information is great for wisdom, But the insights for tomorrow are always going to be learned in the innovations we take today. Always.
Oh, okay. Can you just say it again? Because that was good.
Okay.
The insights of tomorrow.
Will always be found in the innovations of today. That's
Did y'all
how,
get that? Did y'all write it down?
Okay,
Somebody
we
write
got
it
that.
down.
We got
Somebody
that.
write it underline, bold, italicized.
But that's true. That is the truth, right? That is how we learn. I mean, and in marketing, we talk about it all the time. You got a constant innovation.
Yeah.
Is how you are effective in your marketing. That's how you could keep attention. Okay, attention and retention in marketing. That's your two outcomes. How do you keep that? You're constantly innovating the ways in which you reach people and what you say and how you say it.
Yeah.
Great brands know how to do that.
Yep.
Well, we're human brands. We have to learn how to do that. And even in our life story, I respect like my mom, who is a senior. I ain't gonna give her age. She will find me in the studio. But I respect watching her in her new chapters going, and I'm going to take a Spanish class. I'm like, because yes, take that Spanish class. Take a class and learn something fresh and new and innovative. And I'm going to travel to this place today. I feel like she's been in every corner of the earth, but she keeps finding new places to go, to see, to learn, to evolve. And I mean, I think that's the part of life that we have to remember, that the gift that God gives us in all of those new experiences, it comes in those new experiences. It really does.
It really does.
It really does. What is one thing you've learned about yourself this year that you intend to carry forward? We're in April now. So what is one thing you've learned about yourself this year that you intend to carry forward?
So the word I chose was press. Right? So I've always inherently been tenacious and relentless and persistent. And so I think just, by nature, that's how I exist. But when it really is like zoomed in certain situations, I've had to assess very quickly what part of this is ego and what part of this is making sure you do not drop a moment. And once I sit there, I said, okay, so what's on the other side of this? What could you potentially gain and or give on the other side of this? And so now I am actively taking those moments, those brief moments to say, like, is this a hard no? Let's assess what your spirit is feeling. And even in the moments where I'm like, I have pressed enough, maybe this isn't for me. But then even if I'm holding on just a little bit, I get a little bit more like, runway. I press again. And I've seen what happens on the other side of that last press, that a little bit more. Like the wind has been connected to my more. When I think that I've already reached it, I'm like, oh my God. And it totally blows my mind. What I thought it was going to give exponentially gave more.
Wow. I love that. That word for sure gives you, because press looks different in different times. And like whatever the press was for now is for now. And you've been able to know the difference, to press just a little more.
Ugh. Even though your body would have an adverse reaction. Am I begging?
Yeah.
What's pressing versus begging?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And I was like,
because sometimes it is like, this is too much.
I know.
But I think I'm supposed to press here, but I don't want to beg.
But I don't want to beg.
Yeah.
I don't want to seem desperate. But sometimes God didn't give them the whisper.
Yeah.
And they don't know what they don't know.
Yeah.
So the press becomes, I'm gonna show you what my presence will do.
Yeah.
Say yes one time, and then I'm not gonna press no more because I've done it. And if from that point you don't see the impact that was made and the importance of my presence going forward, I've done my part.
Yeah.
Then you can
Then
relegate
you've done
it.
That's right.
I've done my part.
That's right.
But you don't know what you don't know.
Till you press. I love that. Okay.
Okay.
Okay. No, I love that so much. Okay, KJ, I can keep you here forever. I'm gonna tell you back.
I love it.
I love that, and I love you so much. I want to know, in addition to that press, what is one thing that you've had to affirm, of yourself this year that may have been different from last year? What is one thing you had to remind yourself of on a daily or a regular basis that you needed to know
Mm-hmm.
One
Well,
thing.
I've been kind of like throwing around this word that I would sometimes show up in, and then other times be like, I don't want to brag. There's still so much more to go. And then I sat with the same friend Felicia the other day, and even my friends Nikki that are all in like the sales, the marketing, and they were like, "So when you gonna start calling yourself an expert?" And I was like, I say it occasionally. It's there. And they were like, "We ain't seen it." I was like, "Well, back in March of last year, I had said it."
Wait a minute. And
I put it down, but I don't put a capitalized E on it. It's a tiny E. I'd be like, oh, let me just.
Yeah.
And I need to throw that thing down like a spade.
Yeah.
I am an expert. So now this year, I am affirming that I have the receipts.
Yes.
That I have put in over 50,000 hours.
Come on.
That I have worked my way to this, that I have given, that people have leased my energy. That I understand my force, that I show up, that I am in constant, perpetual engagement and then disengagement. I have understood what that feels like.
Yeah.
I understand how to allow someone to harness what I bring until they can walk and show up in their own. I'm a freaking expert. We are affirming that on Great Girlfriends. We are the experts. You can't be reversed because we the experts. Performance director expert. Performance expert.
I love it. Expert.
I'm an
Come
expert.
On. Capital E. Just so we're clear on
Capital E.
and just effective. So where can we see this? Where can we see this change in language?
I actually put it in my post yesterday.
Okay.
I will make sure that it is across all platforms.
Okay.
But I am the change in language.
Oh.
If I don't never write it, I'm going to say it and stand up in it and be it.
Gosh, if these mics weren't so expensive, I'd drop one. Virtual.
I am the change in
virtual
language.
mic drop. I am the change in language. When I know, when I receive it, when I accept it, that's when it becomes real and evident. Oh my gosh. Oh my goodness. Come on, be the change in language.
I never said that before.
Oh
Come on,
my
Great
goodness.
Girlfriends.
Well,
That's
that's
all
what we
you
do
saw.
here at the Great Girlfriends. There you go. You have an exclusive.
Yes. You irritate and agitate
love
things
it.
that needed to be said, but were
Yes.
lying dormant.
Come on, expert.
Reciprocity. Come on, shimmy.
Come on, expert. I love that so much. Expert with capital E, KJ
Yeah.
Rose. And I'm probably going to see it on your Instagram bio too.
Yeah.
I'm sure.
Yes.
And in your LinkedIn bio.
Come on.
And, I'm probably going to see it.
Now you're going to
don't-
get tired of it, and that's okay.
No, I could never see enough of that, right? I could never see enough of a person standing in their knowledge and saying, I know enough about what I know to be
Yeah.
able to educate 3 tiers below or
Yep.
more.
Yep.
And I can take you higher because I understand I have enough case studies. KJ, come on.
Yeah.
You have enough case studies.
Come on, proof of concept.
To make a whole
case
bullet
study,
belt.
yeah.
Like you've got, you have enough case studies and evidence, but you are the change in language.
I am the change in language.
Everyone's waiting on you to accept and embrace
Come
it before it
on.
becomes.
Because
I
they
get
can't,
that. That's
they can't
powerful.
carry you.
Yeah.
They can't carry you over the finish line.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? When I'm working with people, I'm like, I can't help you believe that that's what you do.
Yeah.
I can't help you believe. You
Yeah.
tell me what you want. When you tell me you believe, then we can start the work.
Yeah.
You know, I think,
Uh-huh.
one other thing that I was going to share in terms of what I finally affirmed myself in, I didn't believe, I could not accept last year that I was not for everybody. I was like, well, why don't, I am a nice person. I do what I do. I am good at what
I'm a people's
and be like,
person.
And I just be like, she don't do it for me, or I don't feel like that. And I'd be like,
Yeah.
huh. However it gets back to me or whatever.
Yeah.
And it used to hit me in such a way.
Yeah.
And then I was like, why don't you concentrate on the other millions that you are for?
Ooh. Yes.
Why you concentrating on them one in a possible?
Yeah. One in a possible.
That's right.
Why do we do that?
I'm like, I'm not
That
for
is the truth.
everybody. And that's okay.
And that's great.
Just get out the way.
That's some excellent working knowledge. You
Come
know what you
on.
can do with that?
Yes. I made a chant. I'm not for everybody. And that's okay. As that's okay. Get out my way.
No, it's absolutely true. With that knowledge, you can be so much more refined in how you approach the world and what you expect out of people, what you will accept from people when they come your way and they lopsided. You're like, I'm not for
That's
everybody,
okay.
and clearly I'm not for you because if you
Yes.
haven't learned how to treat me, if you haven't learned how to honor me and show respect, then you're not my person. You're not my people. You're either the one or the possible, but you're not. Yeah.
That was
That's
the pruning.
such a good revelation. And
That's tough.
that's hard for a person like you. I'm relating to this because I'm very similar in that I just love people. And I don't have a lot of it takes a lot for me to not like you. It takes a lot for me to not. I mean, I have to really, really be like, yeah, but it takes a lot of that. And so that right there that's a game changer. Knowing that you're not for everyone. Being an exclusive drop.
What just happened? Why did just come on? You better say it. I am an exclusive drop. Honey, ooh, let me write it down.
In an exclusive drop.
I'm not for everybody.
Oh
I'm an
my gosh,
exclusive
she's
drop.
an exclusive drop. Being an exclusive drop,
Yes.
it matters. And don't we love that exclusivity more than we love what we can find at, I'm not gonna name a brand, but don't we love things when they are harder to attain and procure, and we love them and we desire to have more, and we're more curious about things when they are exclusive than when they are general. So KJ, I love you. I can't keep you all day.
I love you.
Great girlfriends. I hope that this time together, when I tell you she is just dear to me, like has given you a dose of soul food and love and affection. And maybe you're thinking about some adjustments you need to make personally in your life, professionally. Maybe you're laying out a different way of approaching your professional persona, being more of who you are and less of who they want you to be. That repetition, what have I been doing repeatedly? And what result is it yielding me? And a lot of times we can see that in what people expect of us or what is asked of us or what's not, what's missing there. And then what positive repetition have I made? What do I know that I'm doggone good at that I need to just go ahead and call myself expert because I'm qualified? And when will I become the change in language? Come on. When will the shirt says qualified for those who are listening and cannot see. But when will I be the change in language? When will I be the one to clarify things for people? When am I going to do that? And maybe I'm an exclusive drop. I'm not for everyone. So maybe I am the person that is meant to be in an exclusive space. And that is a good thing. That refinement, that working knowledge allows me to make better choices in the people and the proximity that I allow of people. So KJ, for those who want to reach out to you, check in with you, and say hello, where can they reach you?
You can reach me on IG at KJ Rose Effect, on LinkedIn, Kiana KJ Rose Henson, on TikTok, Rose Effect 20, on email, contact at KJ Rose, on Facebook, Kiana KJ Rose Henson, on Amazon, on Pandora, as well as Apple Music. The book, The Rose Effect, 8 Steps to Delivering the Performance of Your Life. Also, The Power Chance.
Yes.
Adjust Your Crown, Activate Your Force is also on Pandora, Apple Music. Okay, so then the book is on Amazon, Barnes & Nobles. And then The Power Chance are on Pandora, Amazon Music, and Apple Music.
Not Spotify? I feel like you were on Spotify.
Spotify.
Okay. I love you so much. Great girlfriends, thank you so much for jumping into this convo with me and my boo, KJ Rose. I hope wherever you are, you're feeling the love and affection that we've shared with you today. Have a wonderful Wednesday and enjoy this beautiful spring weather. Peace.
Bye. Love you. We out.
All right, great girlfriends. Did you enjoy this week's episode of the podcast? If so, would you please give us your amazing review on iTunes? Every single review helps another great girlfriend get plugged into the podcast and the community. Speaking of community, make sure you join our Facebook group at The Great Girlfriends. Follow us on Instagram at The Great Girlfriends and on Twitter at @the_great GFS. I'm Sybil Amuti and I'm out. Peace.